right, looks like we are live. Welcome everyone. What a great day today was. I had such a good day. I can't wait to share this with you guys. Welcome everyone. Welcome on TikTok. Tap the screen, share the live. If this is your first time joining me, my name is Tina. I am a happiness coach. I help people go from being in a dark place, dealing with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, and moving that into being in a happier place. I do this by sharing my experience, my strength, my hope of what has actually worked for me. If you take an ACEs test, which is Adverse Childhood Experiences, I have a 10 out of 10, and I've managed to make it this far in life. So today we're going to go over some really great topics, and I want to bring more healing, more gratitude, more love and happiness into your life. And I'm going to share some of the experiences that I went through today, and then also correlating that back to when I first started in my healing journey, things that I started to implement. And today was a great reminder of those same experiences. And I want to share those with you in hopes that you guys can take something away from this and be able to apply that and implement that in your own lives. So, like I said, tap the screen, share the live, and we will get started here. So, one of the challenges that happens when you grow up with trauma is that you are not able to stay present and fully enjoy the moment. You're often hyper vigilant. You're outwardly focused, wondering what's going to happen next. So you're never really here in the present moment because you're always trying to prepare or plan for the next problem that could happen, or you're in the past of regret and sadness, right? So our abilities to bring ourselves back to the present moment and being able to be so present with ourselves that we feel the energy of life. And that is something that is really, really powerful when we can focus on such a granular level of being present. And this was a really tough concept for me to get at first. And I didn't know what the hell people were talking about when it just felt very, very weird. When people were explaining this, it just felt too bizarre. But some of the small ways I started to practice that were, I would, in the beginning, at first, I would always feel like I needed to control everything, that I had to plan absolutely everything out, that I couldn't leave anything up to chance. And I remember somebody talking to me, and they said, so how many times did you tell your heart beat today? How many times did you tell your heart to beat today? Did you tell your body to digest the food that you ate and how to do that? No? Oh. So maybe you don't have to be in control of absolutely everything. Maybe there are some things, there's something outside of you, some power that is greater than yourself, greater than you, that can actually take care of things. And if that's the case, do you think that you can actually allow yourself to relax, knowing that there are some things that you are not in control of in this universe? And therefore, if you can let go of those things, then you can let go of some of the things that you think that you have to be in control of. And for some reason that kind of made sense to me. And I realized, I'm like, oh, okay, there's a lot of things that actually almost everything is something that I'm not in control of. But we kind of get ourselves twisted, and it's part of a protection mechanism that is developed from having to grow up in those kind of experiences, of feeling like if I am in control, then maybe I can prevent some of these negative things that are happening to me from happening. So when we surrender ourselves to the fact that we are not in control of everything, and that can be pretty scary, it's like, well, then who's in control of it? And that's where having a connection with a power greater than ourselves, a spiritual connection of believing that things are being taken care of for our best interest, so that we don't actually have to focus on all the things that we need to do. And we can just allow ourselves to be and be taken care of. And this kind of brings me into, like, when I first started doing some of this stuff, like, for some reason I was obsessed with my hands. And I was like, okay, my hands do a lot of things for me. So I could feel some gratitude. I could feel some appreciation for the fact that these hands take care of me, and I'm grateful that I have two hands and that I can do things, and I have all of my fingers, and even though they maybe don't look the best, like I've got all these hangnails, because especially since I've been doing the art, I wash my hands a lot. I get paint all over them, so then they get dry and cracked, and I haven't been doing the nails that I used to do. But at the time I would spend time focusing on my hands. And when I put intentional focus on my hands, I could see all kinds of additional details that I normally don't pay attention to. Like, I could see the various lines, and I could see the cracks and crevices, and I could see almost like I could see the veins under the hand, and I could see all kinds of different things that you normally don't take the time to pay attention to and appreciate. And so sometimes the ability to kind of go to a granular level and at a cellular level, and it's like then you kind of open yourself up to this sense of wonder, this sense of awe and curiosity of life in general, because it's like as you get more and more granular with things, it's like when you start to look at a cell, and so you have a whole human being, and then we have all the different parts. We have our hair, we have our brain, we have our eyes, we have our lips, our skin, our bones, our blood, everything is part of us. And then each one of those things is like a whole little universe in and of itself. And then if you dive even deeper down to the cellular level, and then you start finding out things like mitochondria and cell walls and all of this stuff, it's like, how can you not be blown away at the majesty of life? When you take time to sit in the presence of life itself, and then you you expand that out to all the different things, it's like, oh wow, like, you know what, there's myself, there's other people, and there's all these complex systems that are happening. And it's not like anybody's giving it any commands. Life just is. And it's so beautiful when you start to look at things at that level, when you slow down long enough to be fully present in the moment, right down to observing things at a very granular level. And part of why I was thinking of this today, welcome everyone. Hey Suzanne, good to see you. Tap the screen, share the live, ask questions in the comments. Let me know if this kind of stuff is resonating. Have you guys done this kind of stuff? Have you slowed down to think of your life or appreciate something at a granular level? Because when you really fully embrace that, the experience of life can bring you to tears. Like, it is so powerful to look at a sunset as if it was the very first time that you ever saw it. And when you think of it, it's like it could actually take your breath away if you allow yourself to be that fully present. Now, I couldn't do that in the beginning of my healing journey. I was completely lost. But now, at the point that I've done, and because I've gone through this additional deeper awakening, like I don't just see this stuff and experience it. It's like I feel this energy that is coming from life in all its aspects. It also makes me want to isolate a little bit, because sometimes feeling all of that energy gets really, really overwhelming. So, but at the same time, there's such beauty in it, there's such power in it, and when you can feel that energy of life flowing through everything, whether it's a flower, whether it's an animal, whether it's a bird chirping, the wind blowing, there is this energy of life around us, and feeling the sun on our face, and being able to connect to that, and really taking that time to anchor that in, what you'll find is that time actually slows to a point where it almost doesn't exist. And feeling that kind of presence of life is really, really powerful. And thank you, Kidu. Good to see you back. So when I first started before I get into that, so what brought this up is I actually volunteered at an art gallery today in Wasaga Beach. If you happen to be in the area, come. There's a great presentation of life experiences, and this is artwork that is created by seniors as an art therapy thing. And I'm like, well, that's like near and dear to my heart. So I was really pleased with being able to go to this and just volunteer and sit there and be able to explain that. And I checked in on the different articles, and one of the artists, he was a retired banker. His name's Keith Sumner, and he never started painting until he was 90. And in his explanation, as he was doing this stuff, he really found that it brought him a sense of peace, and it allowed him to slow down and enjoy life at such a level that he would be able to observe things in much more detail than he normally would, because he's creating art from it. So a lot of the artwork is landscapes and scenery and stuff like that. And it just reminded me of that practice that I had done when I first started in my therapy and healing journey. And thank you. It allowed me to really be present, like whether you're in water or just even if you're having a shower, feeling the water flow over you, feeling the warmth of it, and just like really embracing that. It's like there's a sensuality, there's a passion to life, there's a fire to it that you can't help but embrace. And you feel this energy, this vibe. It's breathtaking. It is truly breathtaking when you are fully immersed in that. And being able to intentionally, thank you, to intentionally bring that into your life. So what I started to do early in my journey was I would focus on things of, how do I bring more beauty into my life? How do I bring more passion into my life? And I had to sit and think about, what kind of things fascinate you? What kind of things are you curious about? What kind of things are you automatically drawn to? And differs for everybody. So like for me, I absolutely friggin' love flowers. They are so beautiful. They are like friggin' magic to me. It's like I cannot believe God created this beautiful thing, and then there's all these different varieties. And it's like when you look at the complexity of just a flower, aw, thank you. Just looking at the complexity of a flower, it is like, and if you've ever studied one or a plant under a microscope, and you see that there's this whole other universe going on beyond just what you see on the surface, it is very humbling. It's very humbling to be able to embrace that and to feel that at a full energetic level and to connect with that in such a way. And then if you take that and then you extrapolate that to other things that are going on in your life. So you may be looking at a situation, maybe something going on at work. And if it is true that you can look at a flower or a plant or something and you can think, oh, it's just this. And it's very surface level, it's just a rose. It's no big deal, it's a rose. Yeah, they're a dime a dozen. You can see them anywhere. It's nothing special, right? You could choose to look at it that way. Or if you look at things at such a granular level, knowing the complexity of life, what had to happen to create that one single flower, that there's so much more going on behind the scenes than what meets the eye, then can we not extrapolate that and apply that to situations in our life where we think things are one way, but there's so much more going on behind the scenes. There's so much that happens in life that if it is true that you could look at one thing, like the rose, and not really see all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, is that situation that's frustrating you at work, that's driving you crazy, and you don't understand why the hell somebody's acting this way or acting that way, and you get frustrated at it. Could it be possible that there's something that you're not aware of that's going on behind the scenes that's causing it to behave that way? It's causing it to unfold in that manner. And just having a reasonable doubt of stuff allows us to look at things in a different light, in a different perspective of, instead of coming from the place of control and that I know it's this way, that there might be more to meet the eye. And just having that sense of curiosity and that sense of wonder allows us to open up to different possibilities, different solutions that we may not be able to see at first blush, right? So, and I just love looking at life in this way. Thank you, Kidu. I love looking at life in this way because when you think of all the different things that there are in life, it's like there's one lifetime is just not enough to experience it all, right? It's like, and especially if you want to go deep dive and you want to go granular with things and learn things at a different level. And I equate this a lot to, like, I'm going to give a gaming reference because it reminds me of like when I first played World of Warcraft. I remember like this was, you know, an online platform, there's these whole worlds, and the cool thing is, which I didn't know at the time when I was first signing up, but not only are there these worlds, but then there's different servers, so there's different versions happening in multiple areas, and then there's all these people in the world that are online playing, and it's just like mind-blowing when you think of that. The expansiveness and the ability to connect in that way is like so friggin' powerful. But I remember when I was told, hey, you're going to spend a lot of time playing, trust me, way more time than I ever thought I would be. I had no idea what I was getting into. It's a good thing I enjoyed it because I can't get those years back, but I did enjoy it. And I remember this whole experience of creating this character. And you can pick like a dwarf, you can pick an elf, you can pick a human, you can pick a draenei, you can pick all these different characters, right? And it's like, and then you can pick if you're male or you're female, and then there are all these different classes of like, you know, you can come as a healer or a warrior or a paladin and or a mage or, you know, all of those kind of things. Yeah, I friggin' love this. And so they recommended to pick something that was close to your personality. So I picked a dwarf priest. And it's very applicable. I had no idea what I was doing playing this game. It's like I just got dropped into this world, and I remember I think it was like midnight on New Year's Eve or something, like just after midnight, that I created my first character. And I can't remember what year it was, but it was quite a long time ago. And I just got dropped into this world, and I remember just looking around the whole environment. It's like this winter experience, and then the detail that went into it, and then the music that went into the environment, and just all of that kind of stuff. Hang on just a sec, my cat is driving me. Come on, get in here. Sorry, I had to do my live downstairs. There's some company over and they're upstairs watching a movie. But yeah, so this World of Warcraft experience, dropping me into this experience, and it was like this winter wonderland. I'm Canadian, so this makes sense for me. And I didn't really know what I was doing, how to play, all of that kind of stuff. And then there were different levels that you had to reach. And it's so funny because I remember playing a priest, and which means I'm the healer, right? So I can heal others. And I had no idea that I could actually heal myself. I didn't know how to target myself until like I was level 15, and I was sitting at the side of the road, and I'm eating some food trying to recharge my health after, you know, getting attacked by some random thing. And somebody came by, it's like, why are you sitting down eating? Like, you're a priest. You can heal yourself. And I thought, I got defensive. I thought he was trying to call me fat because I was a dwarf, and I took that personally. So funny. It's so funny, the silly things that we take on to ourselves. So I remember just playing this whole thing, and then you just stumble across different people in the games, and you know, no idea what I was doing. I had so much fun playing that game, though. I really, really did. And then the people that I got to meet online, I developed these really close friendships with, and we talk and we do all kinds of stuff. So it wasn't just the game. It was knowing that the other character that was in the game with you was a real person, sometimes halfway across the world, somewhere in Australia, because I was a night owl, so I'd always end up playing with people in Australia because they were getting up, and it's daytime for them, and it's like, you know, 3 a.m. for me. And it was just a really, really fun experience. And there's some people that I'm still friends with on Facebook that I have never met in real life. I've sent gifts to them. I remember there was, and in fact, there was one girl, she was another healer in my guild. Her name's Katie. Katie, if you're watching, I actually named my favorite cat after her. So these are friendships, these are bonds that you develop over random strangers on the internet. And that was such a great experience for me, just getting to meet these people and talk with these people, and then going through the battles and the trials of doing raids and making all kinds of goofy mistakes, and then leveling up other characters, because it's like, oh, well, you know what, I haven't played a human, or I haven't played one of the horde characters, or I want to play a hunter. And, you know, so you'd play all these different characters, and I had all kinds. And it was really fun. And when I think of that game, it's like, what if life itself is kind of like that? What if we come here and we assign ourselves, hey, this time I'm coming in, I'm going to be a dwarf priest, and I am going to be a healer, and I'm going to do all these cool things, right? And there's certain experiences that we sign up for, and that also means there are certain experiences that we have to, it's like, well, you can't do all of them in this one particular lifetime. So what is it that you're going to focus on in this particular lifetime? What is important? And even within that lifetime, we may change, right? Just like in the World of Warcraft game, some people focus on player versus player, and they love the thrill of that, of just like, you know, fighting amongst other players. It's more of a challenge than going through and doing random daily quests and grinds. And then others were like, you know, they wanted to have the best best equipment so that they could show off in from a raid that they went to, right? I like the camaraderie. Oh my god! Sorry, I gotta tell this story. Very first time I ever played in a raid, I think it was Naxxramas. I think that's what it was called. I had no idea. I had no apps, no little things, no charts, no graphs. They desperately needed a healer. So even if you suck, they always wanted the healer on the board. And so I went in and I was like, sure, I can heal. And it was Valentine's Day I was doing this. I played for 14 hours straight. It took all day. We were just, and my husband at the time, he didn't play, and it was just me. I'm like, I was having a blast. I had fun. People would yell at me though, because it's like, why the hell aren't you healing? Because I was trying to manually click on the characters on the screen trying to heal them, because I didn't have any of the different apps. And it's like, once I started to learn, it's like, oh, there's other apps you can download from Curse, and oh, there's Ventrilo, and there's all these different things. I'm sure there's a lot more now that Discord and everything's on board, but at the time those were new technologies. But I love being able to work together, and you make a lot of mistakes, and you kept wiping, and then you'd have to run back from the graveyard, and then you'd kind of go, okay, do it again, and then just coordinating everything and just trying to get everybody to work together when you're doing a 25-man raid was something that was really fun. I really liked doing that kind of stuff. But it reminds me of life. There's a lot of parallels to it. There's times where, you know, I would wander around and I'd play solo, and I'd come across a random stranger. I'd see that they're getting chased by a mob or something like that, so I'd run over, I'd help them, I'd heal them, put a bubble on them, that kind of stuff. And then others would do that for me too. It's like when I'm trying to get enough ore, and I often do ore and picking flowers, so I do a lot of those because that would help, and I'd give those to the guild bank, and we'd make potions, all that kind of stuff. Going way off topic here. Sorry. But those are fun things. But it reminds me of when I was playing that game, I was just so fascinated with all the different areas. I was fascinated with the artwork and how realistic it was, and just the amount of work and technology and thought and effort, the number of people it would have taken to create something like that. And that's just one thing. That's just one thing, one of many games. And so when we think of life like that, there are so many things that we can focus on in life, right? You know, you could be a scientist, you could be a lawyer, you could be, you know, a florist, an artist, whatever. There's all kinds of things that we can do in this life. And sometimes when we slow down, it's like, oh, geez, there's just not enough time to experience life to the fullest depth, to the fullest expression of life. And then there's the times where we get caught up in the traumas of life, the pain of it. But even that is part of the experience, because the growth that we get from that. Oh, hi Peter, thank you so much for the roses. Oh, look at you, titled gifter. Thank you so much. So experiencing life and experiencing the beauty of this life in whatever moment, at whatever depth that you can go down to, instead of, but even the pain, even the sorrow, even the sadness of life is a gift. And being able to fully embrace that and feel that, because it's those dark moments, those dark days that make the happier days even more powerful and even more sunny. And without that contrast, we wouldn't be able to feel it to the fullest depth. And there's beauty in sorrow, actually. There is beauty in sorrow, because if you have felt sorrow, if you've felt sadness, then you have also experienced love in order to feel that loss. Because if there wasn't that love there, you wouldn't feel that pain. You would feel nothing. It would be irrelevant to you. So knowing that even when we feel pain, the only reason that we feel pain to that depth, it's equal to the depth of the love that we felt. And embracing that, experiencing that, is still beauty. It's not easy when you're going through that. So what I invite you guys to do, so that you can feel a deeper sense of gratitude, a deeper sense of happiness, is really pull in, what kind of things do you find fascinating? What kind of things do you love and appreciate? What kind of things are you actually curious about? What's something that you've always wanted to do or look into, or you wonder, how the heck does that work, right? I invite you to actually pull that into your life. And you're like, well, maybe you're fascinated with cars. And you're like, oh man, one day I would love to get this kind of car. Well, and maybe you can't get that today. But focusing on that of, it can be as simple as looking stuff up online about it and looking at pictures of it, and bringing that energy into your life. Same thing with, I love music, I love flowers, and I listen to a lot of classical kind of music, relaxation, calming, spa kind of music with water. I love that kind of stuff. It really calms me, centers me, and there's just a good energy to it. So sitting with that, and then today, while I was at the art gallery waiting, there was only a few people that dropped by, but I actually was able to create a picture, and I was able to do some pencil sketches. So I've been doing a lot of painting, but I actually was able to do a pencil sketch today. So I was, while listening to classical music in an art gallery, I was like, this is so freaking cool. And it was all because I said yes. I said yes when somebody asked me to volunteer. And I was like, that's the thing. It's not the things in life that we will actually carry with us. It is actually the experiences. That time that we invest into things, that time we spend with people, whether it's online or we spend it in person, that time is so valuable, is so precious. The fact that you guys are spending time with me, it's an honor. It's an honor that you find this interesting. I find this fascinating, and I'm just sharing this kind of stuff because I know life can actually be magical when you experience things to the fullest depth, even if that might cause you pain in the future. Being present in this moment is so important. And feeling it to the very depth of your soul, down to a cellular level, is so powerful. And it's so freaking powerful. And it can be so easy to get swept up in the busyness of life that when we actually slow things down, the experience that we have, it's the equivalent of the person that races through the game and tries to get to the end as fast as possible. Well, it sucks. You're like, oh, well, now what? It's like, oh, I burned through that in an hour and I spent this much on the game. Whereas the person that wanders around and explores every nook and cranny and then goes and shares that, it's like, hey, did you know that there was this little Easter egg over here? That there was this fascinating, really cool thing that's happening? Did you know that? They're like, no, shit, let's go do that. Let's go explore together. That's amazing. That's what life should feel like. That we all have these different passions because we can't explore it all by ourselves in this one lifetime that we have. So when we connect with somebody else and they have a deep passion for something, they have something that they've done a deep dive on, and that could be anything from sales to like a tour guide of a particular area. I love going on guided tours because they will give you all the nooks and crannies, the little bits of history that if you were just walking by that you would miss. And you're like, oh, the importance of this particular site or this particular building, or back at this time this event happened and this unfolded. It's like when you experience life at that level, you become so hungry to know more. It's like, what else can I possibly learn? What else is there to know in this life? And it's so friggin' beautiful. It's so magical. And I invite you to pull something into your life. And I'd love to hear what it is, what you've experienced at that level. What have you taken the time to really embrace and really sit with the energy that is in that moment? And try to do that as much as possible in every aspect of your life. Whether it's the food that you're eating, like, are you just scarfing through things because you gotta get to the next thing? Or did you actually take the time to savor it, to taste it on your tongue, to feel that experience? That's a whole different ballgame. When we savor life at that level, and it can just be a few seconds. It doesn't even have to be like, this whole big meditation practice. It's a subtle little thing. To take the time to feel the coolness of the water that you're drinking and how that feels on your tongue and how it feels going down your throat and into your diaphragm and down into your stomach. Really paying attention to the smallest little detail brings a whole level of gratitude, awareness, love, energy into your life, and really embracing that. So with that, guys, I think we're going to wrap up today. If this is your first time joining or you're just joining in a little bit late, I will be posting the replay on my YouTube channel, which is Coach Tina B 125. You can check it out. All of the thumbnails are the artwork that I create, and there's links to where you can purchase the artwork if you so like to do. We live life differently. Time is different for each of us. Some can save their life speedily. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And it's not just one or the other. It's having both, because sometimes there's joy in going fast. It's like, I trust me, see me when I'm driving, you'll see I like speed. And I have to slow myself down. One of these days I'm probably going to try and drive a race car or something like that. Yeah, on a track. That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. Probably dangerous, but cool. So yes, speed, like all of it. It's like, on a roller coaster or something like that. It's like feeling the speed of that or the force of that. It's exhilarating. It's powerful. Just savor it, whatever it is. So if you love the speed, savor things. Bring more speed into your life. I used to do this crazy little exercise when I was working, is I got a thrill out of how much I could do during my lunch hour. I'd go to the bank, I'd go to the grocery store, and I'd go grab something to eat, and I'd be back in an hour. And I was exhilarated by the fact of how much was I able to get done in that short time frame. It's like, oh, I got all these things, and now I don't have to worry about doing it after work. Tiny little games that we can play with ourselves. We can have fun and enjoy life, whether it's fast or slow. There's good to both. So it's not an either or, and yes, it is being fully present in that moment and enjoying what it is that you're doing in that moment. Because sometimes life has to go fast, and that is fun. And then there's other times where you can slow it down and just hear everything. Hearing your own heartbeat sometimes is really cool. But guys, with that, I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. I hope you have an amazing night, and I will be back on here tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. So come join me. Yes, I will definitely meditate. So you too, Richard. Have a great night. We will talk to you all later. Bye.